What's going on, guys? Welcome to the liquidity section of basic training. Basic training. Now, I have a very specific goal in mind and a very important goal in mind that I want to accomplish by the end of this video. And that is for you not to only be able to spot and plot liquidity on a chart, but most importantly is for you to get a deep and comprehensive understanding of what liquidity is, how it behaves, and why it behaves the way it behaves. Say that a few times fast. And then, in addition, on top of that, I'm also going to explain how we can use it in our trading and how to spot the difference between high resistance drawn liquidity and a low resistance drawn liquidity. Okay. Now, why am I so adamant about you understanding and having a very good understanding of what liquidity is? And that's because it's arguably one of the most important confluences when it comes to trading, in particular futures indexes, right? Like the NQ and the ES. And what I see a lot of today is these influencers, right? They do a very good job of explaining how to find liquidity and how it acts, how it behaves, which is great. But their explanation of what it is and why it behaves the way it does is very complicated. Now, don't get me wrong, over time, you pick up on, and you figure out on your own why it behaves the way it does. Okay. But my goal is for you to walk out of this video and have that process sped up, walk out of this video having a very comprehensive understanding of it. So I'll explain it in the most basic way possible while still going in with as deep of an explanation as I can, if that makes sense. I'll also give examples. Essentially, I want to make sure you are a professional of liquidity. You can teach it to somebody else by the end of the video very comfortably. Okay. So, without further ado, let's jump into the first part, which is plotting liquidity. So finding liquidity on a chart is actually very simple. And it's simple because it is a two-candle pattern. Okay. Liquidity is essentially a low or a high. Now, what is a low or a high? Like I said, it's a two-candle pattern. And the way you find it is, or actually what the pattern is for a high, you need to have a bullish candle, meaning a candle that closed above the price that it opened at, followed by a bearish candle, meaning a candle that closed below the price it opened at. Okay. And it's very important that for the high, when you're looking for a high, that the first candle is the bullish candle. Okay. So once you spot that two candle pattern, all you do is you take the highest wick of those two candles and boom, there's your high. There is technically your level of liquidity. The opposite goes for a low, and it's essentially a bearish candle. Yeah, I said it the right way. A bearish candle, meaning a candle that closed below the price it opened at, followed by a bullish candle. Again, closed above the price it opened at. From there, you take those two candles and you find the lowest wick of those two candles and you plot it, and there's your low. Okay. Simple enough. Very simple. You can see this across essentially all time frames, no matter what. 1 minute, 5 minute, 4 hour. I am particularly am showing you on the hourly time frame just because there is a lot more examples and it looks a lot cleaner. You know, at this point, I don't really have to think about it to be able to spot a high or a low. But as a beginner, you kind of have to, especially when you get a cluster like this, you kind of have to think about it. Okay, so this is technically the high because we first have a bearish candle followed by a bullish candle. Okay, so this is the high. Cool. Next thing up, this isn't the low. This is the low because you have a bearish candle followed by a bullish candle. So technically the lowest wick right here, this is the low. Easy enough. Now, what's not considered a low, or sorry, what's not considered a high is if we don't have those two candles one after another. Okay, so this, even though the wick over here is high, higher than the wick after it, this is not considered a low, or sorry, it's not considered a high. Same goes for this right here. You know, you would assume, and actually, I'm going to get into this in a little bit here, and I'm going to give you a deeper explanation of this exact scenario later on in the video. But this technically isn't considered the low, at least not on this time frame. All right, this is a low, but if we go down to the, ooh, I should have done this. Let's do this. Let's actually show where it's at because I won't be able to find it otherwise. Okay. Now, if we go down to a lower time frame on the 30-minute, we can see same thing happens. Okay, cool. What do? We keep going down on a lower and lower time frame until we have the two candle pattern, which is a bearish candle followed by a bullish candle. The lower wick of the two is considered the low. Okay, cool. Again, I'll go into a little bit more of a comprehensive explanation of that specific scenario because it is a little more complicated in a little bit here. But that's how you find liquidity on a chart. That's how you plot it. That's how you find highs